Mozart's final work, the Requiem, has all the qualities of a horror novel. A young, highly successful composer dies at the age of 35 while writing a Requiem Mass. Moreover, a mysterious messenger in grey brought Mozart the commission from an enigmatic client. Mozart's wife, Constanze, played a role in creating the legend. She describes anecdotally how the work came to be written and reports how fervently her husband worked on the Requiem. One day, to distract him a little, she went to the Prater with him. There, her husband told her, tearfully, that he was convinced that he was writing this Requiem for himself. Yet, what is behind the story about the messenger in grey? It begins in Schloss Stuppach in Lower Austria, where the young Countess Maria Anna von Walsegg died at the age of only 21 years on the 14th of February 1791. Her husband, Franz de Paula Anton Count Walsegg, was a great music lover, and he had a rather eccentric habit. He pretended to be a composer and commissioned new works from the most highly regarded masters in Vienna, which were then performed in his palace under his own name. It was his estate manager who, in the summer of 1791, presented Mozart with the commission to compose a Requiem. But in fact, Mozart had no time to do this. It was not long before the premiere of the Magic Flute, and then he had also received the honourable but strenuous job of writing an Italian opera, La Clemenza di Tito, in an extremely short period for the coronation festivities of Leopold II as King of Bohemia. The opera was to be performed in Prague, so not exactly on the doorstep, and Mozart was to conduct. That's why Mozart demanded an exorbitantly high fee, hoping that the client would thus be deterred. However, only a few days later, the messenger brought him half the fee as an advance payment. Now, there was no way of getting out of composing the Requiem. Not until after the premiere of the Magic Flute on the 30th of September 1791 was Mozart able to devote himself earnestly to the work. As Constanze reports, he worked on it day and night. Within only a few weeks, the score had almost 100 pages. Mozart initially wrote down the main parts and then intended to enter the orchestration in a second phase, a technique he had become used to when he had to compose something quickly. The exertion of all this work took its toll. Overworked and exhausted, Mozart's body was not up to combating what, under other circumstances, might have been a less harmful infection. He died after a brief illness on the 5th of December 1791 from a hefty shivering fever, a temperature with a rash on his skin, and acute kidney failure. The Requiem remained unfinished. Yet, as Mozart had prophesied, at his Requiem Mass on the 10th of December 1791 in St. Michael, his friends performed the Requiem. Of course, only the two completed movements, Requiem Aeternam and Kyrie. And what about Constanze? She was left as a widow with two small children and no claim to a pension. And also, her husband had left behind enormous debts. What should she do if the messenger in grey came back to fetch the Requiem, or to demand that she pay back the deposit? But that is another story.